I'm Robert Williams from MetalRules.com, and joining me tonight in Austin, Texas, is guitarist Steve Ramsey and vocalist Brian Ross of new wave of British heavy metal legend Satan. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great, thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Enjoying the tour.
How's the tour going so far?
Great, it's been fantastic, and it's our first time in Texas, and all the shows that we're doing on the tour, we did played in Toronto and Chicago, and they were both first time shows, so
yeah, it's new ground.
It's a good experience.
New ground for you guys.
Yeah.
This is your first time in Texas, and you've already played both San Antonio and Houston. How's Texas life treating you so far?
It's very good. Yeah, we really
great.
enjoy it. It's really enthusiastic crowds.
I don't know, sometimes you kind of expect something to be some way, and it's kind of not, because the overall idea that you get is that Texans aren't that friendly, and they are. They've been great. So we've had a great time so far.
So American heavy metal fans have waited a long time to finally see you guys in person. Tell me about reuniting with the Court and the Act lineup in 2011. What prompted the return of Satan, and how did it all come together?
We'd already played a show. We got back together to do Whacking in 2006, but at the time Sean had a car accident and damaged his ankle, and he couldn't play. So we had Brian, the drummer from Brian's band, Phil Brewers, step in for us, and we played the show. And then we thought, that's all we need to do. And the only way that we had another festival that we couldn't do because Graham had an accident and split his head open.
Oh my God.
And so that was cancelled, and then the guy just hassled us for 5 years to get us to do the festival, and he kept hassling us, and then Sean one day turned around and said, I think maybe go down and have a rehearsal and try playing the stuff. And we had a rehearsal, and then it all kicked off.
It's something that we always said we'd do, but never got round to doing it.
Yeah.
And it was really, that was the catalyst that made it happen.
Uh-huh.
Because then like Steve with Skyclad and me with Blitzkrieg kind of made time to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas before that we were kind of so mixed up with what we were doing, we just didn't have the time. But yeah, and I'm awfully glad that we did.
So you being in Blitzkrieg, you being in Skyclad, you guys had kept in touch all these years?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course we have.
Oh, that's awesome.
We've been the best of mates all the time. I mean, maybe some people had the idea that when we split up after Court in the Act that it was huge bust-ups and we all hated each other and stuff. Not at all.
Not at all?
Completely the opposite. We've been, we've remained friends right the way through. And it's great to be working with these guys again. It was, the very first time we got back together in a rehearsal room, there was like 28 years between Court in the Act and the rehearsal, but
Right.
it seemed like yesterday.
Really?
Because it just gelled immediately. As soon as you put the five of us together, it just works.
How did you all initially meet back in the day?
Oh, that's a story.
It's a story.
The band started really when me and Russ were at school.
Okay.
And he got a guitar, and then I went to listen to him play a few metal riffs and stuff because we used to go to a lot of gigs together. And we formed the band before I even had an instrument. Said, I'll get a guitar, we'll form
You
the band.
had the name and the logo as well.
The logo and everything all sorted. And then we had a few lineup changes, and then we stole Brian from another band. So we managed to do that.
Who were you guys into back then? What were the bands you liked?
I think probably the main influence for the music would have been early Priest and Black Sabbath, yeah. I mean, we were listening to a lot of like Rush and Zeppelin and Deep Purple, stuff like that.
I was into Priest, Purple, Alice Cooper, stuff like that.
So of course today the Court and the Act album is a centerpiece of the new wave of British heavy metal movement. Was it pretty well received back in the day? I mean, what were the reasons that you guys changed vocalists? You left the band.
It's basically why we split up, because we had
Kerrang!
The only two territories that we were known in at the time were in Holland and in England, and both the magazines, the main magazines in both those countries, Kerrang! Gave it a bad review, and Oddshock, the main magazine in Holland, gave it a very mediocre review. And then we didn't see any sales, and we thought we were doing something wrong. So.
Kerrang! Absolutely panned it.
Yeah.
Really?
And I came across the review a couple of months ago, and it basically said that this album is at best mediocre, boring riffs, not much going on. Forget it. Don't waste your money. Don't buy it. Is what and it was the name of the person was underneath.
Was it Malcolm Dome? Or
No, not at all. Malcolm loves the band, but it was somebody called Justin. Something I can't remember his name.
Okay.
But the interesting thing was that I put what he said, on my page on Facebook last year, and said, "All right, and Satan is still here, 33 years later. Where are you?"
Right.
That really says it all. How wrong could somebody be? But to be fair, we never really thought, if you'd asked us back then, would we be doing what we're doing now? And the answer would probably be, probably not. Because you just don't know, do you? This is really, it's really surprising, but it's very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such an incredible honor to finally have you guys over here. I know a lot of metal fans have just been waiting and waiting and waiting to see Satan in the U.S., so it's an honor to have you guys here. Do you think back in the day maybe the band name had something to do with it, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, we always had problems with it, especially being associated with black metal and death metal and stuff like that, when we're nothing really like that. And I mean, we're still getting a little bit of that now, because in England, the Metal Hammer magazine did a feature on us and put us in the back of the magazine with all the death metal and black metal bands again.
How'd you feel about that?
And it's like, well, it's okay, but it's misleading the fans because we don't sound like that.
But not only that, it proves that the person that's writing this stuff hasn't bothered to listen. Because if they listened, they would know that that's not what we're about.
That's
but
not the case.
The funny thing is, traveling around, you'll be on a plane, and the air hostess will come over and they'll go, "Oh, you guys in a band? Yeah. What's the name of your band?" And you go, "Satan." And just for that split second, the look on our face says it all. It's like, oh, all right, okay. And you think it's great. I love it. I just love the thing that it provokes.
Has that helped you guys join the Mile High Club, or no?
No.
I'm not telling you.
So you guys changed your name to Blind Fury following the departure of Brian over here. And I know for a split second in time, Kevin Hayborn, guitarist, vocalist, mastermind of Angel Witch, was in the band. Were you guys ever in the band at the same point in time?
No, it was the same singer.
Okay.
And the singer wanted us to take the name because he didn't want to be in a band called Satan. And
he didn't want to be in a band called Satan. What was it like being in a band with a vocalist named Michael Jackson?
Well, it was great, Unfortunately, we didn't get the other Michael Jackson's royalties. That's what we were hoping for.
I never met Michael. I know Lou very, very well, and he's a very good friend of mine, but I never met any of the other vocalists.
I was just listening to Suspended Sentence last night. That's a great album. He's a good vocalist. I was thinking to myself that could be crazy, being in a metal band called Satan with a vocalist named Michael Jackson, but
yeah, it was.
So you guys released your highly acclaimed comeback album Life Sentence last April through Listenable Records. Now tell me, were those songs that had all been written since reforming the band back in 2011, or were some of those songs vintage Satan tracks that never been recorded?
All new. We never, in the old days, we never really wrote any extra stuff.
Okay.
Anything that was written was used, so we had to start from scratch. And the idea was that we wanted it to sound like it was the follow-up album to Caught in the Act.
Yeah.
So we had
it does sound like that.
Yeah, we had to sort of put our heads back in time a little bit. And
for a couple of months before we started writing all the songs and everything, for a couple of months before that, I had Caught in the Act on my car stereo, and that's all I listened to get my head into that mode, so that I was thinking that way, and it kind of helped. So.
Was that difficult for you? I mean, normally like doing the Blitzkrieg thing and just putting yourself in a different mind frame for the Satan project. Like, what inspired you lyrically for the new album?
Well, the funny thing is, the Blitzkrieg album that was recorded in the same studio at the same time by the same engineer.
Wow!
And it was and it was written simultaneously as well. Blitzkrieg is a different beast. I like it's a kind of a freedom that you get with the Satan thing, because I'm I'm one of 5 musicians, and it's worked together. Whereas in Blitzkrieg, I'm the main guy, and it's everything sort of starts and stops with me, really.
Yeah.
So, but the lyrical thing, it's all about. If you listen to it, it's all around a theme. It's all an extension of Caught in the Act. It's the judge. It's the
Executioner.
yeah. I mean, it's all that kind of thing. Blitzkrieg is totally different. Whereas I can pretty much write what the hell I like. It's, I don't have any sort of remit on that. So I just choose a subject and write about it. With Satan, we knew where we wanted to be, and we knew exactly what we wanted to write about.
Yeah.
And we just went that way. So it was easy and it was hard at the same time.
What was the most difficult challenge you think you faced doing the Life Sentence album?
The hardest thing was doing the Blitzkrieg album after doing Life Sentence.
Why is that?
Because I had to get Life Sentence and Caught in the Act out of my head and start again to do a Blitzkrieg album and have it sound like Blitzkrieg and not Satan. And that was hard. But the Satan album was because we worked on it together.
Yeah.
It was actually, that was quite easy. I'm saying easy comparatively for me.
Yeah, you guys mentioned earlier that when you got together after all these years, it was just like yesterday, right?
Yeah, it was easy to do.
I don't know, there's like a chemistry. And when you put the 5 of us together, it just happens.
What was that like for you as a guitarist to look around the room and see all your old buddies from back in the day finally jamming again? I mean, were there any noticeable changes in the sound or like?
No, it was just it was like we'd never been apart.
Really?
I mean, I haven't been apart from Graham, the bass player, since the start. Anyway, he's been in all the bands that I've been in, Skyclad and everything. So, but it was great to be playing with Russ and Sean again. It's just the energy that we create together when we play. It's very difficult to get that, and I think that's why the first gig we did when we got back together and we had Phil on the drums. Phil's a great drummer, but it didn't feel the same, and it didn't lead us to want to carry on.
Yeah.
And then when Sean came back in, it felt like it used to in this,
So you guys have recently released the Trail of Fire Live in North America live album, available now at the merch table with all of your live shows on Satan's Fall US Tour. Tell us about the live album. When and where was this recorded at?
The first 6 shows we did in the States were over on the East Coast. We played six shows on the East Coast, and we just recorded them with some equipment that we had ourselves to be able to do that. And we recorded the 6 shows really probably to try and get a couple of extra tracks for maybe bonus tracks for CDs and albums and stuff. And then when we listened back to it, it sounded great, It was
energy.
that you could hear.
It's just pure energy.
We could hear the experience that we'd had was recorded, and we thought we would like to share that with people, and like have a listen to what we did and what it was like, And,
I'm amazed you guys got it out so fast.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it wasn't a planned thing where we took a big mobile studio or anything like that. It was.
Not at all.
We can't end this interview without first touching base on your folk metal project, Skyclad. It's been about 5 or 6 years since the release of your most recent album. In the Altogether, any news to report from the Skyclad camp?
We're still we're planning on doing a new album and stuff, but I've written all the music like a long time ago, and the singer's having a bit of a mental block for the lyrics, so we're hoping to get it together.
We recently I'll write your lyrics for you.
Yeah. We recently played some big festivals, and we went down really well. And we got Dave back in the band, one of the guitarists from the early days, and that's really give us a boost. And I think if Kev doesn't get his act together, then we'll get Dave to do some stuff as well.
Oh, cool.
So we're still alive. Yeah.
My friend Thomas Christie out of San Francisco, he knew I was interviewing you guys, and he told me, ask Satan about the 1983 Three Broken Fingers Dynamo incident.
Right. Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
I don't think it was 3 broken fingers, so I'd getting all exaggerated. But I broke my hand.
How?
Before That's another story. It was actually fighting with Andy Reid, the old drummer.
Why were you guys fighting?
It's a
long story.
Yeah, he was doing something he shouldn't have, and I had to sort him out. But in the process, I hurt my hand.
Were you there, Brian?
No.
You don't know why they were fighting?
No, I wasn't there. I saw the aftermath of it all when he had a plaster on his hand and stuff. But you know,
only for the biggest show of your career.
We had two.
But he took
it wasn't
the plaster.
a big.
He took the plaster off to play the Dynamo.
Yeah, I did the
gig.
Dynamo. Yeah.
He did
I
the last
cut the
gig.
plaster off on stage and just did the gig.
Did they have
The
pain
first-
medication back then?
Yeah, I just had some of that. Yeah.
Just toughed it out?
Beer. And the weekend before that, there was 2 weekends of shows, and our roadie, I actually got up and played, and I was in the crowd with my plaster on. While he was
that was bizarre.
took my place, yeah, it was crazy.
It was funny, but it was bizarre at the same time.
Were you nervous, or like how did you walk on stage and see that massive audience and go, I have three broken
it didn't
fingers"?
happen at that festival. At the big Dynamo Fest, it was just a club.
No, it was the
Club
Dynamo
thing.
Club.
Yeah, it was it was this Dynamo Club.
I got you. Okay. Well, okay, so you guys are confirmed for Blastfest in Bergen, Norway in February of next year. What else do you got on the table for the rest of the year in early 2015?
Hopefully, we've got a South American tour in May. We're recording a new album over Christmas and into the new year.
Wow.
And hopefully that'll be released around the same time in May.
Okay.
We're looking at. And then the plan is to do a proper European tour, because at the minute we've just been doing festivals.
Yeah.
So maybe do that in the fall next year. And then come back over to the States maybe in the April after that.
Well, Steve, Brian, thank you so much for taking the time to talk metal with me
Thank
today.
you.
It's been an honor. Before we wrap this up, do you guys have any last words for your fans watching at home?
These are my final words. This is my one last testimony. I have nothing to say on this day but the truth.
You said it all.